Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. So, this is going to be a summary for the current turn. What is it? Turn 9, turn 10. No, sorry, turn 4, episode 10. I was going to do this as a live stream, but we have spent a good chunk of the day, actually. So that is a big thank you to Vulcan and Infinite Monkey. Thank you very much for that, guys. Been pretty amazing watching it. And yes, guess what? There's actually a video this time. There is, in fact, video. Whoa, look at that. Look at that. The marvels of 21st century technology. So it is a very interesting situation here that we find ourselves in. It's one where there's potentially a lot to be gained. There's potentially a lot more to be gained as well. I mean, we do stand some risk, and we've done our best to really try and take care of that. Infinite has been very great in helping me out here. So we did set up the actual submarine patrols over here. We've set up the ships to actually head out here. Essentially what we're trying to do with these actual cargo ships is spread them out to try and impact on his escorts over here. It is likely that he probably will have smaller forces, maybe like DDs, set to react to chase down these guys if they try to get in the way. We are going to be heading with the Kidpatai, which is going to be moving an absolute. We have split up a lot of forces as well from the Kidpatai and have them to follow, but we're going to be heading towards the hex of 142109. The reason is, if I go ahead and pick up a image over here that Infinite did do for me, he's really quite creative. I'll show you guys see. Yeah, we had a couple images, like this was the image that we were looking at before. This is where I do wonder if Infinite's actually a machine, and I'm going to say probably yes. Probably yes. But there we go, we had that one. And then we did have this one here. As we can take a look. Yeah, so essentially we are moving. I can't read what hex number that is actually. What's that? 139. I can't read whether. But anyway, we're moving to this one, 140109. This was an older one, but it gives us a good idea of what we can expect from our good friend over here, Admiral Dadman. And so essentially, we can see here the pink line is the TBD in torpedo range of Qualagin, KOJ essentially. So you can move to these hexes over here, it would be in torpedo range of these islands. The grey line is the max speed. So essentially, if he moves at max speed, so full speed, he could move to this area over here to be in range. It's not the maximum he could move further, but that's the maximum. Well, that's pretty much it, really. He could move here at full, and he would be, yeah. So this black line is if he moves at cruise speed, the grey line is at full speed, sorry. The red line is extended bomb range for USN torpedo bombers, which would be over here. So there we go. So it's really quite interesting, but what we're looking towards doing then is, if he moves in this way, we're going to move to 142109. So we are going to be very close. It is very risky, but this is it. We're hoping it pays off. Which is why we have gone ahead and detached a good number of ships over here. So I've named that bloody Apokuma. It's a Nagara class, which is why it's called that. But as you can see, she is following Task Force 1, which is the Kidpatai, at 100%. One reaction. We do have the BB split off as well with 2 destroyers each. They're following at absolute. The idea being that they follow at absolute as well. And they act as the pickets, essentially. Trying to prevent any engagement getting through to the Kidpatai. Or at least trying to lessen the amount that could get through there. So what we have set up then is, if we take a look at the actual fighters. Now, if we sort this by experience, which they are, Shokaku is flying 60% at 15,000 feet. We have Karga at 15,000 feet as well. We have... No, is that Shokaku? Oops. Shokaku, Karga, yep, there we go. Akagi's flying 5,000 feet. Zuikaku's flying 12,000 feet. So is Hiru. And then finally we have Soru flying 18,000 feet. The reason for this is we have a lead combat patrol to try and pick up on... well, the 5,000 is for torpedo bombers, potentially. The 12s are pretty good, they're like the mid-range. The 15s is where we expect to be doing the most damage to the enemy forces. 18s is just to have that higher band covered. It also, as they're the least experienced squadron here, they're still very experienced, but they are the least one compared. Well, then again, it's joint. But essentially, they're going to come in there to dive, which is useful. Okay. We have the torpedo boats over here. Sorry, torpedo boats. Bloody torpedo bombers. So we have the torpedo bombers here. They're running 0% surge. They're obviously going in for the kill, essentially. We're running them out to 7 hexes. We have the dive bombers. They're all running 20% surge. Going at 11,000 feet, 7 hex range. Essentially, it's a lot of naval surge there that we do gain from dive bombers. The dive bombers are going to be attacking out to 7 hexes. Their normal is 6. So they will be using a reduced bomb load, which is the 2 60-kilogram bombs rather than the 1 250. But we feel it's worthwhile, because at the end of the day, the torpedo bombers are the ones that are going to be doing the damage for us. So if we can get a strike at 7 hexes, ideally, he may not be able to then respond. But that is what we're doing. So we're moving to the north over here, so we're moving directly towards him. So you can see that we're about 11 hexes out. Also, as we move up the line here, 10. 9, imagine 8. So you can imagine as he's moving in closer, we're moving in closer. Now, we do have a huge, absolutely huge amount of naval search in the Marsh Islands. There's probably not going to be a point again at which we have as much naval search. I don't think it's going to happen. We have a phenomenal amount. So as you can see over here at Jarwood, we have H6K4s, they're running 25. We're trying to manage the fatigue here, so they're running at 25, which is that extended range, 100% naval surge. So we have 6 there running the day. And we have over here, we have 2 groups of Mavises. This group at 12 is running 9 naval surge. Now their fatigue's getting up there. Well, it's not too bad, but due to their proximity, they're only 12 hexes out. So I didn't feel like it was required to run to 25. We do have these guys down here running 25, so it just gives that a little bit more reach out here. But essentially, we are pretty close. We should be okay there. So they're running 100% naval search at night. 6,000 altitude. These guys are running 100% in the day. And we're trying to manage their fatigue, which is why we reduce their range from extended back to normal. Trying to manage it as much as possible, really. So we have 6 over here running a day. There's another 6 over here, which brings it, well, sorry, another 5, but brings us to 11. We do have 1 in reserve, so they may be pushed into service tomorrow. It would be ideal if they were, to be honest. And then we have the 12 there in midnight. Over here at KYJ, we have these F1 and 2 Petes. They're running combat patrol. It's something at the end of the day, might disrupt them. We have another group of H6K4s. They're running 100% naval search, again at 20 in the daytime. So you can see there, 14 hexes out. So I mean, like 20 is about there. That's 21 from Jarmuth. 25 there. So you can see that we will have a great deal of coverage. So you can see that we've got already 3 detachments of the squadron over there running the day. We've got 12 there running at night. Over here at Royndamer, we have another group of H6K Mavises running daytime search as well. 100% there. There's a lot of naval search, you'll see what I mean. Now, we have decided to go for broke over here with the G3M2s. We've given them very aggressive commanders for these squadrons. And they're going to be running a naval attack in the daytime. At least 2 parts of the squadron are. The reasoning is, well, due to the actual speed of these G3s. As you can see, they move at 173 miles per hour at cruise speed. We're hoping that the Kiddipatai will strike first. So what we wanted to do then, essentially, with the G3s, and it was an interesting one. We did consider having them just only within the escort range of the A5s and M4s over here at Royndamer. But I think it's probably the right decision to go out and try to reach out there with the G3s. Essentially, what we're hoping for then is that the Kiddipatai strike will go in against the American carriers first. And who knows how successful that may be. But the G3s will ideally go in then afterwards, potentially when the combat patrol has been reduced or potentially ships have been damaged. And they can go in there and have a pop at them, which would be quite nice. Now, we do have the other part of the squadron, the Chitose KUK-1. They're running night naval attack at 6,000 feet, 15 hex there. Essentially, we're hoping that they might be able to get a strike in there. Who knows, really. That one's very much a gamble, but we're going to hope on that. See if it works for us. If not, oh well. These guys have run 100% escort. They're running out to 6 at 8,000 feet using the drop tanks. So it's one of these. If they are within range, then we might have an escort to strike. If not, they may attempt to strike out here. We'll have to see what happens. It's going to be an intriguing one. Ideally, the Kidbatai strike goes in beforehand. It's a very interesting time, to be honest. We are in a really quite advantageous position. He doesn't know where the Kidbatai is. We know where he is. We have a likely idea that he's coming in here to strike at Quadrilline, or potentially Roynamur. He's looking to strike out this way. We'll have to see, really, if he does or not. But it's looking fairly likely that he may attempt to do that. We're going to have these guys head out that way. Yeah, I'm just trying to essentially save them. So that is the idea over here. We do have submarines headed out to these different areas over here. Essentially, the point is, if he runs in another direction, we may get up. Well, so we may get a pickup on one of his submarines over here to actually essentially reveal their position to us. These submarines over here we are going to probably reorganize as well, but essentially what it is to try and do is, if they do retreat, then at least we might have a pop at them with the submarines. Over here, we're trying to torpedo the President Coolidge and the other ships over here as well. There's the heavy cruiser Louisville, I think it is, the AP Hugh, the XAP President Coolidge. So what we're trying to do then is try and track that down. I do also have the I-23 over here. She's going to be running down that way. If she does, well, if they do indeed head towards Pearl Harbor, we might be able to pick up on them. There's also a float plane aboard this submarine as well, so that's very handy. Okay. We're starting the invasions in this area over here, so we'll take Wedek next turn. Kevyang will probably fall next turn. Tulagi may fall the day after, depends if... I think there's an atoll, so we might get a shock attack there. Depends, they're in... Right, okay. Yeah, they're in combat mode. So, yep. We'll take the base at Tulagi. We've got an AV already on its way down there to Tulagi. But essentially, if the battle goes well over here by the Marshall Islands, it's going to give us a lot of freedom. It's going to be very interesting. Essentially, what we're witnessing here is what the Japanese would really have prayed for. We are close to our own bases. We do have a number of level 3 and level 2 ports over here. Nothing massive, but it would be something to help us out if one of the carriers or potentially a couple of the ships were damaged. Ideally, they're not. We'll see. But what we're hoping for then is if he's coming in to strike at Kawa or Roynamur, he may be looking to strike with either a port attack or he might be looking to strike with an airfield attack. I'd imagine an airfield attack. So essentially what we're looking to do here then is to try and catch him with his pants down, essentially. If we can try and catch him out where, well, essentially we have the Kidbatai set in entirely to naval attack. Well, where he may have his forces set to potentially port strike and potentially airfield strike as well. He will have a combat air patrol. He may have naval attack as well, but we're not going to be witnessing anywhere near as much as what we might be able to potentially bring to bear here. And it is an impressive amount of firepower. So we have 387 there. And what I've gone ahead and decided to do as well is, on board ships like the Hiei, we do have these Alps. I did decide to put them on combat air patrol. I may change that back, to be honest. It is tempting. I think I'm going to continue to run them as is. Essentially what we have is we have 9 float planes aboard the Kidbatai. So what we're looking to do here then is have the 4 Jakes. They're going to run the day naval search. The 5 Alps are going to run combat air patrol. The idea is just to try and protect the carriers a little bit more, really. Trying to do our best with that. We have the force over here, where we have the destroyers and obviously the carriers. We split this off to try and protect them as best we can, but we'll have to hope for the best, really. Okay. Beyond that, we have the invasions going out. Forces being moved around to where we need them. The invasion of Guam is going ahead. Now, I do need more supplies. I think we should be able to manage this. So what I'm going to do then is have them launch an attack. There's 20 AV there. I might have the base force join in as well, considering they do have 30 AV. They're 100% planning for Guam. I'll have them just set for Guam, just in case. And there we go. So they're going to load it Guam. I'm moving these supplies over here to Pagan. At least I'm going to have them move towards Pagan. I want to spread these supplies out across a couple islands in the area. Try and set up bases where we can actually get naval search. Well, just future airfield setup, really. I would like to have some supply in the Marshall Islands, sorry, the Mariana, so we can actually work with it, really. I don't want to be scrambling to try and grab it from elsewhere. Over in this area, we are moving in. Oopsie. Okay, so they're moving in there. I think what I'm going to do here then is have the Minikapatai somewhat move around. Let's see, can we find any shallow ocean? Let's see, there's shallow ocean down here, which we're going to be moving towards now. Well, we're moving into the area. Okay. Instead, what we'll do then. I don't think it particularly matters as I'm able to cover them from round about this position, really. But I don't want to linger, especially as we are detected. So what I'll do then is I'll set them just a patrol pattern. To bound there then. Try and drop a little bit of our detection if we can. They're set to low threat threshold anyhow, so they should be okay. Okay. Yeah, we have high combat air patrol. Yeah, looking good. Essentially, we should be able to deal with anything in this area. We haven't seen anything, but that could change in a heartbeat, really. I have got this combat... so I've got the heavy cruiser over here just to protect them. So they're heading down that way. I probably don't need the heavy cruiser in this area anymore now. But it probably would be worthwhile just to try and have it linger around here. I was saying that... why are they going there? They shouldn't be heading there. Have them head to the cow. Just because they're in retirement allowed, isn't it? There we go. In fact, I could make use of those torpedo bones. There we go, link up with them. We'll need to refuel them, but I'll have their home pod set to Cameron Bay. I can take fuel from these ships anyhow. Right, there we go. Yep, so what we're looking to do then is, I've got a regiment that's going to be loaded up over here from Cotobrou. Let's get them there. There we go. So we're loading these guys up, they're going to be sent into Kuantan. I have another regiment over here to head towards Kuantan. So what I'm going to probably aim to do then is either get 1 to 2 regiments over there. Maybe even potentially try to land a regiment at Mersing, but we'll see how the situation turns out, really. It would be nice to go for that, but it would be very risky. But it could be one of those where it has a payoff there. Would be very nice. Okay. So beyond that, we're going to carry on with the invasions over here. But I'm sending out a minesweeper, the DMS W4. She's going to head down that way. What I'm going to be looking towards doing then is try and sweep Sinkawanga mines, potentially. I do have another few DMSs on their way towards joining this group as well. But we have a very heavy cover force. We have, obviously, the heavy cover there. We have the Sinkawang force itself, actually, with 2 torpedo boats. A few destroyers in there, then the Sendai, an APD as well, which is always handy. And then we have the Chokai and destroyers as well. So pretty damn heavy force, as far as it goes for escort. There we go. And the reason is we want to get into Sinkawang, we want to get there to Kwantan as well, we want to take control of the area. We want to essentially just lock it down, be able to move on. We have our submarines moving through this area over here. Essentially what we're going to be doing as well is we do have from Samar, we have this force over here, which is the Sasebo, the Yokosuka, and I think it might be, yeah, Sasebo 8th, Sasebo 3rd, Yokosuka over there, some AA, some engineers as well. So they're on their way towards Palembang right now. So that's going to take some time, so I'm going to get some escorts in there. But essentially what we want to do is we want to have basically like bam, 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 moving there. We've got divisions on the way down to Saigon, we've got divisions on the way down to Babaldwab. I'm going to take the 2nd division over here. It's a good job I've checked. See, this is the thing, the turns are coming so quick and fast, it's hard to keep up. But essentially what I want to do over here then is load these guys up. Probably I'm going to leave behind the Magan Maru, get these guys moving faster. Unfortunately I can't dock, but what I'm going to do then is get the 2nd division loaded up. So 8625, so I haven't got enough yet. Verify the load. I'll put the PP back in here where they're loading them in. I should have some potential... yeah, there's another 2... God damn, this is the problem here, isn't it, when they're set about. So that's a bloody shame, they should have been in there. I need to double check that they haven't got retirement allowed on. It's their old... Well, it's the original settings with them having retirement allowed on. God damn it. I probably would have been able to get the entire division loaded up there. Yep, would have been able to probably manage that. God damn it. Ah well. Ah well. So we have a Minikazi over here. What I'll do then is leave you. I could have them actually head over here to Sendai then. Gives us something additional to work with. Over here. Right, a couple destroyers. We have these guys over here, so they've stopped loading now. Okay. Right. So what I'm going to do then is actually take the engineers over here to Torishima. As to whether I leave them there, but I'm going to have them head in that direction. The cruiser Miley I want to head out as well. But what would be nice is potentially have some aviation support over here. If needs be. But essentially we want to like set this area up. Either Torishima or Agashima. Agashima would be nice to get some engineers in there, really. But we'll see. These guys are Southern Army. So most likely it is going to be to move them out. But we'll see. We'll decide on this one. It's something just to get them moving right now, rather than have them remain and not do jack. Okay. I've got the convoy set up some water over here as well, which is good. Okay, I got a couple of destroyers over here. The Momo. Toho's here. Yeah, these guys available. Couple more destroyers. Of transport there. There we go. We're just getting things set up and rolling, really. I'll set those patrol patterns up, actually. Yep. Then about to arrive at Port Arthur. Then we can set up the actual proper... I shouldn't be on cruise speed, should be on normal. God damn it. There we go, mission speed. There we go. So they're going to arrive in Port Arthur, so we'll get that automatic convoy set up. We're assembling our troops over here. I'm trying to build up a couple divisions over here at Hangzhou so they can march down to Wengzhou, and then we'll be able to take control of Wengzhou ideally sooner rather than later. The Kwantong army is assembling at Mukden. We're going to essentially have it act as a battering ram moving down this way towards Chengzhou, and it's essentially further on from that point there. We have some engineers heading over here to Chongfon. We have an element of the RTA heading over here as well. They're then going to march over here to Victoria Point to take the base, and then we'll set up our engineers over here. And what I'm going to be looking towards doing is actually a paratrooper landing there at Port Blair. So I do have 2 transports that are going to... Yeah, they're heading over here to pick up the one of the Yokosuka units. So go ahead and pick them up, and then we'll have them moved over here, get the transports moved over there, and then we're going to land at Port Blair. Okay. Essentially, Malaya, we're marching, trying to get to these roads as quickly as possible. It would be nice to potentially land... Well, we will land at Kwantan. Ideally take Kwantan. Messing might be feasible, really, but we'll have to take a look at that. But it would be the best one for us. I think once we take Kwantan, try and knock out some of those bombers there, really. That'd be very handy. Seems we don't have reconnaissance over Singapore right now, which is not good. Holopper, like Johabaru. Let's get part of that for the time being. Alright, Quantan. Right, well. Right, we'll run that over there at Singapore then. So that's too far. So they can remain... So they can do Quantum, can have another unit, and do Singapore. Tell you what, I'll have these guys do it. Right, there we go. Just work out some reconnaissance. I was trying to get the turn done quickly, so we'll fix these things in the next one, really. So we're doing that then. We do now have the 22nd Air Flotilla over here to Kota Baru. So what I've gone ahead and done is... see. We have a 0 squadron. We also have 3 Sally squadrons, which are going to be basically getting out of there shortly. Let's have them 100% rest. Yep, rest. Rest. There we go. Might as well just set them back. Doesn't really particularly matter anyway, they're not going out. There we go. In fact, I'll just have them set to train right now. So set all the Sallies to train for the time being. Then we'll start the bombing of Singapore next turn. The 0 squadron over here is running long-range combat patrol over that force. Now I'm going to run that 50-50 and try to give them a chance to rest. Maybe just 10% combat patrol just so we have something. So actually make that 10-40-50. Just give them that really. I want to have a little bit of cover here. Then we're moving on there. Then moving on out. Yeah, so what we're going to do then is the 2nd division's been loaded then. A little bit slower than I would have hoped for, but it's not a big deal. We'll be able to get them moving pretty quick anyhow. So get them moving out there. We do have over here, so we have this force heading out to Saipan. They're going to link up with the cruiser force over here, as they're not detected. There is a bit of a risk over here, which is why I do have these guys in position. It's 50-50. There we go. Just in case he sends something out here. It's a little bit of fuel, but I want to be sure, really. Okay, they've completed their loading. Okay. Still tempted by that. Still very tempted by that. I think I'll go with that then. We can always change our minds. But I would like to get a koi there just in case. That would be very nice. Okay. So we'll see how that goes. We can obviously change our minds on that one. Whether we have them move to another base or not at this moment in time. I've got the APDs that are going to take the koi over here. They're remaining in position for the time being. So in fact, what I'm going to do then is have them link up with that task force there. The reason is just to give them a little bit more cover, just in case. Just from air power, really. Though saying that, I might be better off having them merge one of these groups over here. I think I'll have them merge with the heavy cruiser group, to be honest. And then come back in. Though, I think what I'll do then is I'll just have them patrolling this area. We'll just have them patrol then, I guess. Yeah, bugger, just have them patrol there. Then I can pick up these troops next turn. I would like to get them moved out quickly, but I want to make sure they're here just so that this unit surrenders when we do land. And then obviously when we do attack. Though saying that, let's see. Yeah, still allied, actually. Yeah, so we'll send them to combat. Right, so we'll be able to get them moving out next turn, then that's fine. That's fine by me. There we go, that explains that. So we need to take that base. So that's fine. We'll take that base there, then. Right, subs are moving out. Things are moving. We've got our AS in position over here, so I can do then is disband that. There we go. Okay. Then loading over here. What I'm going to do then is put 2 extra PBs into that force over there. They're going to be moving around this way. So it would be nice to make sure they have some support, really. I do have a force over here. The torpedo boat is moving out to meet them. So what I might do is actually have those 2 PBs go meet them instead, actually. I'll do that. Alongside the TB, but it gives us something in the way of extra cover, just in case. I want to get some additional forces over there towards Jolo so I can take control of that. I've been wondering about Buzwanga, but we'll see. Okay. I think we're more or less done with that, really. Don't think there's anything much else going on. I tell you what, I probably want to make sure I can cover those guys, don't I? So we'll move in there. Think about there, then I guess. I want to make sure I can cover them. Yeah, moving in. We'll have plenty of cover here. Okay. Got a couple of DMSs over here I would like elsewhere. I'm going to get them underway, as I'm going to need them in the near future. Okay. I'll have them head for Tanat, but we're going to need fuel very quickly. So I need tankers really loaded up, ideally. Do I have any tankers here? I've got plenty of orders, don't get me wrong, actually. So that's something to bear in mind. So I tell you what, I might retain... I'll get this guy loaded up. But I think I'll retain the DMSs here because I can use them as part of a oiler force. And there's actually a big... No, I'm actually quite tempted to get an oiler underway. I think I might get an oiler underway, but at least it gives me the opportunity to get that moving. I potentially then have it move in. Might be a little preemptive, however, though. How big are these oilers? I could have it escort Hayamoto. Yeah, she's got 8,000. So we'll have it head down here, then it gives us the ability to refuel them. I could also then use it to put some fuel in over here. So we'll get that underway then. It gives us something to play with. Okay. We do have fuel in the Pacific as well. So it's pretty much all a go. Oh, an interesting one as well, which is really quite nice. The G3s over here. We did manage to actually split them up at the Chitose group by a nice little trick. There's actually 2 planes that are part of that squadron that do begin over here in Yokohama, Yokosuka. And what we did was we disbanded them and we told them not to reform after 120 days or 100 days or something of that nature. So essentially that destroys it, but it means that we can actually have that group split up and actually make greater use of them, really. But there's a lot of naval search in that area. Hell of a lot of naval search in that area. So there we go. I'm gonna save that, and I think we'll send the turn off. We might even have it back to 9. It'd be kind of crazy if we did, but we'll see. It's really exciting so far, and I'm loving every moment of it. I hope you guys are as well. So I hope you guys have actually enjoyed having video. My God! How lucky are you? But if you guys have enjoyed this, please do consider subscribing for more. And potentially become a patron as well. That really helps me out a huge deal. But it's going to be very interesting. We may see the making of the campaign right here. We'll see. So go ahead and call it that. So, I might just use red and white again, actually, but no, I should probably change that. And we'll go with, what to name it? Let's go with Cherry Blossom. There we go. Awesome. Now, thank you very much for that, ladies and gentlemen. I shall see you in the turn to come. Goodbye for now.